Pregame.com.
Tim Tebow plus 6.5. Oh wait, Denver plus 6.5 hosting New England. All right, Marco. Last week was a dream for you because one, you covered. All right, because you had, you were adamant in the video. Plus 3.5 was too much.
We also said pound it on the teasers. Take Chicago in the teasers. I said it was a great play.
All right, but the fact is, you got that cover, and we keep the momentum going on the Tebow train. So let's talk. Well, I got some really good stats on this. So and the thing about stats are they're most useful when they frame the conversation. So the first stat I'm going to throw at you is let's talk about how amazing this streak is, that what's really happening here.
Okay.
So if 6 games ago, 6-game winning streak, if you would have said, I'm going to bet $100 on the Broncos to win, and I'm going to keep that money, let it ride, one of your favorite movies, until the Broncos lose, how much do you think you'd have right now?
Well, so you're betting them just on the money line.
On the money line.
On the money line. $100, probably over 25, probably 25,000 or more.
$38,450. A little $100 bill. Your lobster fee, the cost of you when you go eat fresh lobster with the butter. $38,000. So that does, all joking aside, put into perspective that this is an amazing streak that he's been on. Only the third team to win 5 straight games as an underdog, and they were underdogs in the 5 games prior to the Chicago game. Only third team since 1988 to do that. So, I mean, a lot of really amazing stats. What was your takeaway from that game? I'm guessing you watched every play, right?
I watched every play. I mean, and let's be honest here. Lovie Smith made some critical errors in the ball game. You shut this team out for 54 minutes of the game and change. And then all of a sudden, you decide to go into prevent defense. Did he not watch the Miami game at all? That's exactly what Miami did when they were up 15-0. Tebow dink and dunks the way downfield, and they score. Now, not only do they score, but, I mean, there's such a sequence of events that had to occur for this to happen. They score on the front side of the 2-minute warning. There's 10 seconds left before the 2-minute warning when they got that prevent defense touchdown. That's critical. People are not talking about it, but if they would have not got that...
That was Tebow, though. And he had to score before 2 minutes.
Because if they
do whatever it took.
Because if they didn't get the onside kick, the Bears would have been able to run out the clock with just kneeling. And then you would not have had the Marion Barber total brain fart. I mean, what else can you say? Second down, you run out of bounds.
Which does bring up an interesting point, is if they could have kneeled out and what would there have been? I think I heard 25 seconds. Maybe do you do that? You know, because then once you punt, it's it's one thing when you have a minute or something, or 25 seconds if you only got to go 20 or 30 yards. But if you got to go 80 yards, well, they needed a field goal to tie. Right. So, yeah, maybe that makes more sense that they didn't. But here's the thing. When you were like 35 and Larry Bird stole that ball against the Pistons, remember? Bird on the steal, flips it to DJ. Remember that? Were you saying to yourself how dumb the Pistons were? Or were you saying to yourself, Larry's a legend?
Well, Larry's a legend.
What were you saying?
He created the play. He stole the ball. But
so I guess that's what I'm saying is here we're talking about, could it just be the Tebow factor? Is they're saying we don't want to give him the ball with 35 seconds left. We're scared. We got to keep the ball out of his hand. Run as hard as you can, Barber.
It's, okay.
I mean, dude, it's 100 wins you 38,000. At what point isn't this going to be a fluke to you?
But if you're the coach, I mean, why do you go out of start with the prevent defense? If you shut the man down the whole...
That's been discussed on ESPN National Radio all week, and that's what everyone does in these spots. So against Tebow, you're going to do something different than against any other player?
This is the point. Now, here's where I'll give Tebow credit. The factor in this myth, in this mystique, whatever you want to call it, moxie, anything you want to label it, by going into the prevent, you are fueling that. You're giving them hope as they're dinking and dunking their way down the field that people start believing. Why add gasoline to that fire. I play straight defense. I'm sorry. I continue with the pressure that I had the entire game that kept this team off the scoreboard.
I wonder how many people are on YouTube right now saying, I would play this defense. What's this dude's record coaching?
You know what? But if it didn't already happen in the Miami game, you know, it's just, to me.
But as a Steelers fan, whenever the Steelers play prevent in these, though against Baltimore somehow they were pressing on the corner. But the fact at the end of the game. But the fact of the matter is, it's league convention. This is what you do. You know, maybe that's wrong against Tebow, but boy, that's a big change. All right, let me ask you this before we shift to this game individually. Is you had plus 3.5 on Chicago. So if they made that 51-yard field goal at the end, you were going to win your bet.
Right.
Were you rooting for them to make that field goal?
Oh, at that point, absolutely, because I'll be honest with you.
Your love of money is greater than your hate of Tebow.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, there's no question about that. And I'll be honest with the way my day went that day, because I had 4 ball games on Sunday that all 4 games were decided on the last play of the game. And I was on the wrong side of 3 of the 4 coin flips, you know. And that's the only one I won. I'm saying the way Tebow has screwed me all year, I could see him breaking loose and running for a touchdown and just really screw me.
I'd be doing this video by myself.
You probably would. The only good thing about me living here in Vegas instead of Pittsburgh is after watching Tebow over and over again, there's a lot of bridges in Pittsburgh. I probably would have jumped off one of them. But there are a lot of high buildings here in Vegas that I could take a leap from, too.
So let's look at this game in particular, and let's use another stat to kind of frame what's going on here. Is of all the teams which have had a 6-game or longer win streak in the last 25 years of the NFL, the Broncos are the biggest home underdog of any team with a 6-game or longer winning streak. So as much as it seems like there's Tebow mania going on, this line is set. I mean, a 7-point road favorite is huge, and we're moving towards a 6.5 now, moving towards that.
Which the opening number, by the way, was 4.5.
All right, and I talked with Chris Andrews, our friend from County Sportsbook, a bookmaker. He said that this is amazing. 5 times as much action on this game than the normal NFL game. For every $100 bet on a normal game, 500 is being bet on this game. And right now, 80% or so of the bets are on the Patriots, 20% on the Broncos, but he says no real wise guy action yet. So the line move so far, he's saying, with hit. Now again, those early, he doesn't open up till Monday, so some of those early moves off the 4, because it was 6 pretty quick, happened offshore. But otherwise, the wise guys at the number as it is now have been pretty neutral. So what's your general handicap on the game?
Well, here's the thing. New England's defense is not good. So Denver should have some success moving the ball. But where New England is really bad is teams have been able to pass the ball on them. That's not Tebow's strong suit, obviously.
Dustin, it'd be nice if we had if we were ESPN, we could clip back to him saying the same thing about the Vikings game. So I do think there's a potential analogy here, is that we said the same, and I said it on national radio, is Vikings stink on pass D, but Tebow might not be able to take advantage. He did take advantage in that game, right?
He did, but are you going to confuse Leslie Frazier with Bill Belichick in game plan?
I mean, that's the question, though, hasn't Belichick game planned all the other times this team gave up 400 yards to Matt Moore and 400 yards to Ryan or Grossman? I mean, clearly, if we want to make this about Belichick, the defensive genius, and Brady, the best quarterback in the last 20 years, yeah, this is video's over. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, is that the Patriots team that you're seeing?
Well, no, but the difference with New England, now the Minnesota game is the only game that is different from all of the other Bronco games. All the other Bronco games were low-scoring games, hang around,
Tebow does what he needs. He just wins.
Find a way.
He just wins. He'd prefer it to be low-scoring because that's more Christian. But but if it needs to be high-scoring, he's fine with that.
Well, see, that's the thing. We've seen one game where he was able to play that way. He's going to have to play that way this week. Do you really think he can trade points with a Tom Brady?
I don't know.
Okay, that's the question. I'm going to give you the Patriots here. It's going to be a weak vote on the Patriots. I got them winning by 8. Well, I'm going to give you a sidebar to it, just as I did last week, because I think there is value here. I will be all over New England in teasers this week. I had Chicago teased with, if they would have scored 6 points,
I so disagree with that, because here's the thing: you're teasing it down to just win the game, but I think there's a decent chance. I might actually get you to change your mind here. Listen up. Listen. There's a decent chance that New England wins this game by 40 or 30, 20, a blowout. And then you're laying the 6.5, doesn't matter.
Right.
Boom, winner. But if this game is, if Tebow's got the ball with 1:30 left, down by 2, who do you want to win the game? So my point is, you're in that Tebow zone, we'll call it 3-3. Why in the heck do you want, now if you could somehow tease it and you can't, well I guess you could on a 10-point or whatever, and get it to New England plus 3.5, now you're like, even if Tebow comes back, I get that because those points are more valuable, but aren't the least valuable points the Patriots winning by 1, 2, or 3 because Tebow won't let that happen?
The situation, I hear what you're saying, but I'll throw a
different nodding out there right now.
Yeah. I'll give you another scenario. There's more likely of a situation for New England because of their defense to be up 15, 14 points, and Tebow get that drive at the end to make it around the number. I just want New England to win, and I do not see New England losing it. Now, I will say
I think
here,
you said the same thing with the Jets game.
No, I did not. Actually, I like Denver. I like Denver in the Jet game because the Jets that was a Thursday night game. And a short week, a team you don't play, and preparing
I didn't mean to distract you. Go ahead.
No. If Tebow can beat New England and Belichick, then okay.
So if he wins 7 in a row and 6 as an underdog, now you're going to take it seriously.
Here's the thing, though. All the teams they've played, last week I said was the first time they played a very, very good defense, and we saw that they struggled. I was correct in that. This week I am going to say this is the first time they've played a world-class offense in this streak. Now we'll see how they do.
So the Jets aren't a good defense?
Not compared to the Bears, no. Not this year. The Bears were the best defense they faced this season.
But the question isn't the best defense. The question is a good defense.
It was I said it was the best they faced this year. Now I'm going to say this is the best offense they faced this year.
All right. Well, give us your official projection.
New England 28-20, and I'm going to add to that I like New England on teasers. I will have New England on several teasers this week with my selections. And, be smart with your teasers. Look for the ones where this is a situation where you want to take a team where you're just taking it down, just looking to win, or you want to take a dog through key numbers.
Yeah, a classic advantage teaser is through 7 and 3. I think the teaser makes a little more sense if the line actually gets to 7. So you're not going through it, but you're getting off of it. But fair enough. Okay, guys. One thing that we want to talk about with Marco before we finish here is he's doing a daily betting first look, you call it, yes. Right? And you do what, about 5 minutes of audio on that? And you're just kind of breaking down, you're eating your chocolate chip. Can they hear you eating?
No.
Because like the forks clanging and stuff?
No.
Because, there was a famous movie in the 80s called My Dinner with Andre. And it was an art movie. And it was just a dinner between two people talking. And then what Andy Kaufman, the comic genius, did was he did My Breakfast with Blassie. Remember Fred Blassie, the wrestler?
Okay, yeah.
Right? He used to call you a pencil neck geek. Remember him? He sat and had breakfast with Blassie and did a movie. So kind of your first look, we should change that name to something with the breakfast. But you actually glance at the board and kind of just brain dump for 5 minutes.
We talk about moves, and I explain if the move is really public or if it's sharp money. And, we're taping here today on Wednesday. We happened to have a game. There was a 3 o'clock game today, and we put people on it, and they got the money with Iona, and there was a game that definitely was sharp money coming in, being bet early, and it's a great thing. And not only, one of the things that I do, and it's great with it, because people look at line moves and they just automatically, Oh, okay, with the public sign. Sometimes the line move is public, and I'll give warnings on games where why this line's moving, and I'll say because in their last game they were on TV and they won. So not only do we give people winners, but sometimes we take them off of losers so that they don't just blindly follow a line move.
And that's available for free, and you can check that out at pregame.com in the forums. Marco does a different thread every morning for that. Remember, all of these videos get their own super thread in the forums in which all the participants will answer any and all questions you might ask. You can get that directly at pregamevideos.com. Talk to you there.